Create an ultra-realistic professional boxing arena crowd ambience. A massive sold-out championship boxing stadium with over 25,000 excited fans. Loud cheering crowd, people chanting, constant arena atmosphere, occasional whistles, people shouting, camera clicks, sports commentators faintly audible in the distance. Arena PA reverb, glove movement, footsteps on the boxing canvas, corner team talking quietly, referee movement. Every 20-40 seconds, the crowd erupts into massive cheers. Hollywood sports broadcast quality, ESPN championship atmosphere, Netflix sports documentary sound design. No music, no narration, no vocals.
5 fighters each found something about Mike Tyson that nobody was supposed to find. Each one discovered a different piece. Each one took it to the grave, or close enough. And nobody assembled all the pieces until the damage was already done. Here's the version of Mike Tyson the world agreed on. 19 years old, destroying men in under 2 minutes. A knockout streak so savage it looked less like a record and more like a natural disaster. By 20, youngest heavyweight champion in history. By 21, undisputed. By 22, the world called him unbeatable. That part is true, all of it. But every fight has 2 people in it. The story we tell about Tyson only survives if you ignore what certain men quietly discovered in fights that didn't make the highlight reels. Not opponents who beat him, opponents who found something specific, something they each uncovered in different fights across different years, and something that nobody connected into a full picture until it was too late to help them. So here's what I want you to watch for. Each man in this video found one piece. Remember what each piece is, because the last man in this story is the one who finally used all of them. May 3rd, 1986, Glens Falls, New York. Tyson walks in 19-0. 19 knockouts. Not one opponent had survived to hear a final bell. His opponent, James "Quick" Tillis, a 39-fight veteran on a 4-fight losing streak. His own trainer, Angelo Dundee, the man who trained Muhammad Ali, had quit on him. Dundee told reporters that Tillis had no spirit to fight. So here's the first question this video is going to answer. How does that man become the first human being in history to take Mike Tyson past the 5th round? For years, Tillis looked like a fighter who mentally collapsed in the later rounds of every big fight. Turns out, the protein-heavy diet his coaches pushed was actually poisoning him. A severe allergy that drained his stamina from the inside. Doctors discovered it weeks before the Tyson fight, fixed his diet. A completely different fighter showed up. For 4 rounds, Tillis used a sharp jab to keep the 19-year-old at a distance. Tyson couldn't get clean, couldn't find his rhythm. The crowd that came for a massacre started booing him instead. Then, late in round 4, Tillis missed a wild hook and stumbled. Tyson caught him going down. A knockdown from a mistake, not a clean punch. That single moment on a single card was the difference between a loss and a draw. The crowd booed the decision. Hall of Fame trainer Gil Clancy told reporters ringside that Tillis was 1 punch away from winning, 1 punch away from ending the Tyson legend before it fully started. But the fight didn't matter because Tillis almost won. It mattered because of what he proved. Tyson had never gone past 6 rounds. Nobody had ever made him fight tired. Tillis was the first man to do both, and he did it at 19 years old before Tyson even had a title. Whatever came next would require a Tyson who knew what exhaustion felt like. Nobody noticed what had just been discovered. But the second man did something even stranger. He found his piece with one hand. Evander Holyfield did something in round 1 of their 1996 fight that none of the previous 3 men had managed to do. He looked completely unimpressed. Tyson landed a right hand early. Holyfield didn't blink, didn't step back, didn't change expression. He looked at Tyson the way you'd look at something smaller than expected. Think about what that means. Tyson's first and most powerful weapon wasn't his left hook. It was the look on every opponent's face when they realized what they were standing across from. The flinch before the punch. The hesitation. The moment when the body remembers it's afraid, and the brain can't talk it out of it. Holyfield had none of that. And Tyson, visibly, in real time, didn't know what to do. By round 6, Tyson was bleeding. By round 10, Holyfield had broken his composure as thoroughly as his body. The referee stopped it. TKO Holyfield. The rematch came in June 1997. Tyson entered desperate to recover what the first fight had stripped from him. Instead, round 3 gave the world the most infamous moment in boxing history. The bite, the ear. The second riot in 2 Tyson fights. History remembers the bite. It mostly forgets that Holyfield was winning the fight again before it happened. The rage that produced the bite wasn't savagery. It was panic. From a man who couldn't find the thing that had always saved him. The fear in the other man's eyes. And then came the man who read all 4 pieces at once. Lennox Lewis, unified heavyweight champion. Tyson was 35. The fight had already survived a New York press conference brawl where Tyson bit Lewis on the leg, getting it banned from Nevada before Memphis stepped in. Both men guaranteed $17.5 million. What followed wasn't a war. It was a demonstration. Lewis used his jab from round 1. Long, controlled, patient. He kept Tyson at a distance. Piece 1. He denied Tyson his angles, clinched when he had to. Piece 2. He absorbed Tyson's best shots and kept walking forward. Piece 3. And from the opening bell, he looked completely unbothered. Not aggressive, not afraid. Calm. Piece 4. Cuts opened above both of Tyson's eyes. By round 7, the punishment had become, in the words of the New York Times reporter at ringside, simply ugly. Round 8. Uppercuts staggered Tyson. A right hand dropped him. He didn't get up. The Ring magazine named it Knockout of the Year. Not because it was dramatic, because it was complete. Lennox Lewis didn't discover a new weakness. He was the first man to use all 4 at once. Here's what 5 men across 16 years quietly proved. Tillis proved Tyson could be outworked, that the stamina wasn't limitless, that if you stayed standing and kept moving, he'd fade before you did. Tucker proved Tyson had no answer when his angles were taken away. No plan B, no adjustment. Just confusion. And it took a man with one good hand to reveal it. Ruddock proved Tyson's chin could be rattled, and that when survival was denied him, when the man in front of him refused to fall, Tyson had no composed exit from the situation. Holyfield proved the aura was the weapon, not the left hook, not the right hand. The fear. Take the fear away, and everything underneath was beatable. And Lewis proved that one man reading all 4 lessons at the same time would end the story. Buster Douglas didn't create an upset in 1990. He stumbled onto pieces of a blueprint that Tillis had started writing 4 years earlier, and got lucky enough to hold on long enough for it to work. The puzzle was always there. It just needed someone to finish it. The word at the start of this video was invincible. 5 men proved it was never true. 1 man proved it loud enough for everyone to hear. If you want to go deeper, the night Holyfield walked into the ring without fear and walked out with Tyson's legend in pieces. That full breakdown is on the channel. Subscribe if you want more buried boxing history every week. The names, the highlight reels dropped. The stories behind why. The record always says defeated. It never says what it cost. August 1987. Tyson already holds 2 of the 3 heavyweight titles. Win this fight. First undisputed champion in 9 years. His opponent, Tony Tucker, 34 wins, 0 losses, current IBF champion. The betting line, 15-1 against Tucker. Tucker once called himself the invisible champion because nobody, not the press, not the public, seemed to notice he existed. He had a title belt and 0 name recognition. 20 seconds into round 1, Tucker throws a left hook. Tyson's head snaps sideways, then an uppercut, and Tyson takes 5 steps backward. 5 steps backward. Mike Tyson. Here's the part that makes this remarkable. While Tucker was doing that, Tyson was fighting a man with a broken hand. Tucker had shattered his right hand in sparring before the fight. He could barely use it. And Tyson, with a healthy fighter across from him, couldn't dominate a one-handed opponent over 12 rounds. He jabbed, he clinched, he tied Tyson up every time Tyson loaded a combination. And by round 5, Tyson had stopped throwing real combinations entirely. Not because he was tired, because Tucker had methodically removed every angle Tyson needed to land them. Tyson won the decision, but one judge had it surprisingly close, just a 4-point margin over 12 rounds. A fighter using one hand, 4 points from a different result. Tucker held his title for 64 days, the shortest heavyweight championship reign in history. Then, history moved on and forgot his name. This was the piece Tucker found. If you could neutralize Tyson's combinations, if you could tie him up, take his space, deny him the inside, he had no plan B. And he'd just proven it against a man who could only punch with one hand. The next man didn't neutralize Tyson. He stood in front of him and refused to fall. And what happened after the fight ended was almost worse than the fight itself. By 1991, Tyson was rebuilding. The Buster Douglas upset had happened the year before. The titles were gone. He needed convincing wins. His opponent, Donovan "Razor" Ruddock, a Jamaican-Canadian brawler with a left hand that dropped men cold. He'd recently stopped former heavyweight champion Michael Dokes with a single punch. The first 2 rounds looked like Tyson was back. He dropped Ruddock twice, a controversial call in round 2, then a legitimate hook in round 3 that sent Razor hard to the canvas. Ruddock stood up and kept coming. By round 6, both men were running on empty. And late in that round, Ruddock walked through Tyson's guard and landed a combination that visibly wobbled him. Not a stumble. Wobbled. The former undisputed champion of the world, shaken for a moment that almost changed everything. Then came round 7. Both men off their stools on fumes. Tyson landed a 6-punch combination. Ruddock didn't fall. He was still upright, still moving forward. The referee stopped it anyway. Ruddock's corner exploded. His brother stormed the ring. A brawl broke out between both camps. The referee had to be escorted out of the building by security. The Nevada Athletic Commission fined Ruddock's promoter $25,000 and suspended him for 12 months. A rematch was signed just to settle what the first fight never settled. 12 more rounds of the same war. Ruddock left with a broken jaw. Tyson left with a perforated eardrum. 2 official wins on the record. No mention of what it cost. This was the piece Ruddock found. Tyson could be hurt, physically rattled. And when a man refused to fall, when the finish that was supposed to come didn't come, Tyson had no composed response. He needed the fight stopped for him. 3 pieces, 3 fights, 3 different discoveries, and not one person had put them together yet. The next man didn't even need to find a new piece. He did something far more unsettling. He made Tyson feel nothing.